What is up, people, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so where we are at the moment. Car broke. We think ECU failure. Change the loom. New ECU's in. Car's running again. Lots of work in between. We have one little oil leak, which is a fitting, which is easy enough to fix. It's on this oil fitting here. This NPT fitting there is leaking in that fitting, so it needs to come out. Be ideally a bit of green Loctite on there. That used to run a banjo, see, or I could just change it. I have got some fitting. I might put the banjo back on and run the hose outside. Anyway, off track. So we're running. I've got to phone the mappers. But I was just talking to Nick Vaughan, Prawn Racing on YouTube. He runs the Audi A3 in the Classic Touring Car Race Club. Very good car, good drive out. But anyway, he was been watching my videos and he was on about the gear indicator. It's all over the place. So yeah, it always does that. Common fault with these engines is the gear position sensor on the drum fails. So it misses third on this car. So it messes up every gear after because it doesn't know where it is. But I said, it's all right. All it runs is that gear indicator. It doesn't run anything else. It's not plugged into the ECU. I said, well, the new one is. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. This is now plugged into the ECU. This ECU, you can do boost by gear, boost by RPM. You can retard the timing and stuff through the gears. Now, if this ECU doesn't get exactly the right information at the right time, which is known what gear it's in, will it cause an issue? I don't know. So ideally, this engine needs to come out now, and we need to swap that gear position sensor. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one because the engine has to come out. You have to turn it to the side, take the casings off. I don't actually have the right gasket for the side casing. And my spare gear indicator switch is still in the gearbox of the spare engine. Now, do we swap it all over? Now, if you remember my Gen 2 engine, yeah? Well, actually, the Gen 2 engine sold. And this has come back home. Now, who remembers this then? The Whole Shot Racing turbo engine I had. Now, I spoke to the chap, just randomly messaged him. Says, what did you do with that engine, mate? Have you done? He says, I haven't used it. He literally took it home. He's got like an MNR, like a Caterham thing, dropped it in the chassis, never finished building the chassis. It's just literally sat there. So I was like, what are you going to do with it? He said, you can buy it back if you want for what I paid for it. I was like, okie dokie. So now you can understand a little bit more why I've persisted and put this loom in the car. In preparation for this. But this couldn't come around until my Gen 2 sold. So this has been in the works for a few weeks now. So this car, that's why I've put pressure regulator in and I'm doing the fuel switches and everything's in preparation for that. Because that is going to go in this car. We need the power. But it's got to go in different ways. And we'll get through to that another day. The biggest issue at the minute is my gear position sensor. Now, I don't actually know if that one's any better, but that is the one that ran with this loom. So technically, it should work. The only shitter is we've got to take the engine out to do it. And it's like, oh dear. So I've just got it to work, and now I'm thinking I need to take the engine out. Now with this, it's a bit of a shitter because you can't take it out and leave the exhaust manifold there. So you have to take the exhaust manifold off because the way it hooks into the cylinder heads. So you have to drain the water, radiators off, you have to open the exhaust tunnel inside, undo the V-band, just move the pipe forward a touch. Then, because this chain is a riveted chain, not a split link chain, I've got to take the top sprocket off. So I can drop the chain off, leave the chain where it is. Then it's only a few wires and she comes out. Oh, and the black frame, obviously. But I might be able to leave it in the black. No, I can't. Because it can't come past there. So, anyway, that. And we're going to have to strip this engine down to get to this. This is the thing. Now, I'm unsure whether this is a standard sensor in here or the updated one. So, I think we need to have a look. And by the signs of this sealer on here, the gasket that's in there is also going to be no good. But this engine is going to come apart anyway. We're going to split the casings, check all the bearings, check all the gear selectors. It's only got standard shift rods in there. So I've got some billet shift rods. I've got some baffle and all sorts to go in it. So I think what we need to do first is probably get that one out of that engine. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take this one out first. Just so we can have a look. I'll do. Doesn't need to go on its side. Just, I'll do. It's a nice view then, can't you? I'll put you about there. So I'm knocking some of this stuff off. It's actually not that bad. It's got a Cometic gasket here, at least. That might run again. It's got a bit of oil in the bottom of it, like. Well, I'll order a new one, I think. So you can see on here, see this extension piece to allow for this clutch. You can see where they've like just welded it on here, all the way around. Surprisingly clean. There's a little bit of dirt in the bottom. She's definitely going to get an engine flush or two. Don't know whether I'm going to run this top out yet. Apparently they can be a bit hard on the downshifts because of these weights flying around. So I don't actually know yet. I could use my Dugger gun, but I don't really like using them on engine components. So this will do. Bolts for the gun. What I'm going to do is mark that. I'm going to mark this so I get it back in the same place it's coming off. I can get the lid off with bloody pen. So we'll mark the top of this one, and then we'll mark just in case there's any balancing issues, yeah? Just my bloody luck, wouldn't it? One, two, three, four. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to rotate this a bit more because there's copper washers in there. Come on. Yeah. So, I'll move you around this side a bit now. So we can see what's going on. Hang on. It's about the best I can get you. So, I've just noticed there's copper washers. I don't know, I've never seen copper washers in there before. So I want to take this off as a complete unit with everything where it should be. Right, little tub here. And with these things, what you can do is you can change the weights of these by taking washers on and off. So put that there in the tub. Can I lift this out as a unit? Like dropping it off. Anything. Dumbass. So, springs I'm putting in their position in my tub. And the one's going to have to go. Like this. And the washers, to me, just look like standard copper washers. I don't know why. I think they're... Why would you put copper washers on there? Because you're lifting the plate. I'll have to have a think about that. Because you're softening the springs, aren't you, if you extend it away. Right, so now this comes off. And there's your clutch. So what I'm going to do some more marking. So putting that to there, so this to there. I'll put the line for the clutch basket. So I'm going to leave everything in place. Then this comes off. And this is a proper one, it's been machined and put these on. Still looks in good nick. We've got that is the top of that washer there. This is like a thrust washer. Inside there's a rod that goes all the way through. It's normally a 2-piece and there's a ball bearing in the middle. Most people swap it out for a single piece. That's what I've got in that one. So, as you can see now, all of these is set like that. And I've got this. So that is going to go back together exactly the same way it came apart. So now we've got to get the clutch pack out. Which is a little bit more awkward than you'd think. We're going to take my thrust washer off. And the shaft out the middle. So you've got the shaft, thing, thrust washer. Put that in the clutch. And it's been welded on the inside as well, this, to stop this going tick, tick. This, it's good and bad. The way this works is the centerpiece has a chamfered edge. And then the outside piece has got a chamfered edge the other way. So as you're more on the throttle, it throws and it pushes, like they slide up each other. And it pushes hard on the clutch. When you got this top hat design, you don't need it. That boost, my other booster hasn't got this and it rattles a little bit. So now we need to get the clutch pack out. And I think first of all, you want to do this nut and then all this unit comes out with the clutch on it. Alright, so let's find a socket, shall we? just like that. Here we go. Clutch back. And that clutch plaque, you have to remember there's a washer that fits on top of here. It normally sticks to the bottom of the pack. Right, now to get this out, we have to take this out of here. We've got a bearing and a spacer. So the bearing. Then we have to get this spacer out. Because you have to lift this and it has to come sideways, see? Because it catches in here. So this spacer has to come out. And it is only held in by itself. We shouldn't have done that. How the fucking hell do I get that out of there then? Some quickly. Can I grab? Nearly. Spacer. Put the spacer back in the bearing. Now this, it's come up towards you and out. Beautiful. And that's that. It's in actually really good condition. And another thing with these you get is with the clutch rattles, it wears the side of the clutch. And if you see this one, I'll come round so I can show you. Don't know if you're going to see it. In here, you just about see it's a little mark. You can barely actually feel them. Normally, these are ribbed ridges. And when the clutch is doing this, and that's what stiffens up your clutch. So this isn't that old. Definitely, that is not that old. So, this is your gear that drives your oil pump. This is your oil pump. Now there's an upgraded one and there's a standard one. And the difference is the amount of teeth that are on it. Now I don't know what this one is, but I am going to count the teeth and I'll do my research into it. But I am guessing, as this is a built motor, it's going to be the right kind of one, isn't it? You can just sort of make out the H-beam rods in there and the ARP bolts. Crank's been done. So now we need to get this off. This is your gear position sensor. Why Suzuki thought, I know what we'll do. We'll cram it on the inside. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's tight. Why couldn't Suzuki have made it accessible from the outside? Just a thought. Don't really want to be leaving this engine without one in, but needs must, costs are rising. The gasket sealer. So there we go. See, this one is just like this. And it registers on this little thing here. Where the Gen 2, that is actually connected to this, and that's what it picks up on. Yeah, power across the two. There we have our sensor. Now, I don't know if they can fall out. Yes, they can. So what I'll need to do is put something in there to hold that lot where it is. So I'm not putting the sensor back in. So I put that there, and then that on top. Get some slightly bigger washers, we'll be good to go. I know that nothing's going to fall out of position. Yeah? We have to take all this off anyway to split the casings, chip the gearbox. Fucking scared the shit out of me. That washer don't fit. Might be able to just move it over. As long as the one washer holds it down, we're good, isn't it? Yeah? Questionable at best. Come on people, would you expect anything else? That's got it now. Apart from that. All this, and it probably won't make a blind bit of difference. It won't go anywhere. So that now is all we need. That little sensor. Shut up. So we've done all that just to get that out. And we've got to take the engine out just to swap that over. I'm wondering if there's any way we can test that sensor. Right, let's quickly just chuck this back together. Do not want to mess any of this shit up. Do we know, people? We're engaging the crank. And back at the top, you have to get this bloody oil gear back on. Because this oil gear has to go back on there. And it's such a precise fit. Okay. And then this has to go on there. It's to locate in there and on there. If you know, if you didn't get any more blooming awkward. Turn it around a bit. Some of the blue lines at the top. That's down. So that's located and that's located. Then we'll drop the bearing, that back in. And we need clutch basket and the washer. We've got this big washer on the back. Clutch basket. The clutches look really good. They do look really good. So she'll line up our clutch with our marks. Probably not necessary, but you know, why not? Don't be a twat. Let's turn that a little bit. Yeah, didn't say it was going to be easy. There we go. Clutch pack engaged. The nut, the washer's already on there. I'm just going to do that finger tight because it's got to come back apart anyway because we've nicked the centre out of it. Let's get a little span. Now to do this up, a lot of people just blast it with the dugga gun. Yeah? That's not how it's supposed to be done. You actually need a proper tool, which is this thing. It goes on there like that. Locks everything together. Yeah? So, you will need one. We're going to have to ask a question, why it's got the copper washers in. So that's going to be taking tension off the spring. I've seen people space the springs down to give you more pressure, but that is in a drag racing application. So maybe this will aid the gear shifts. What I'm hoping is to get my car so I don't even have to shift, like clutch it on the way down. Right, so that is how you take gear position sensor out of Hayabusa engine. Right, so what I'm going to do is call that little video here, and that's going to be part one. Next one, we're going to take that engine out, swap them. Let's see how we get on from there, shall we? Right, how to remove gear position sensor out of a Gen 1 booster. Job's a good one. See you later, people.